Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. It is Monday, July 15th, 2013, and the show came from Brooklyn, New York. So yeah, the show starts off with the intro video, and then there was some pyro. So again, that was kind of cool. Right, so anyways, intro and then the pyro. After the pyro, they're in the arena there, of course. And all the lights in the arena go out. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then there's this drum roll. And again, I'm like, what the fuck? The lights finally come back on and the drum roll stops and out comes our new general manager, Brad Maddox. It really seems like he's trying to hype himself up to be this big deal and everything, and I still just kind of think it's funny as hell. But, yeah, so he comes out and he starts talking. And he basically, the first thing he says is that he wants to make a match, and he makes a rematch from last night at Money in the Bank, this being Alberto Del Rio in a rematch against Dolph Ziggler, of course, because of the terrible finish of the match last night. So he announces that. And then John Cena comes out for some reason. I don't know why, because he wasn't mentioned, whatever the fuck, But yeah, so that just puzzled me. But yeah, so Cena comes out, and he starts talking. I don't really remember what the hell he said. I can't pay attention to Cena when he talks. It's too boring. But Maddox finally starts talking, and he says that he wants to let Cena choose his own opponent for SummerSlam, the next pay-per-view coming up. So he's giving Cena the opportunity to choose his own opponent. And yeah. Randy Orton comes out, of course, with his briefcase that he won last night, and he talks to Cena, and he basically says, "When I cash in my Money in the Bank briefcase, you'll never see it coming." And then all of a sudden, Fandango's music hits, and out he comes. And this puzzled the hell out of me. He comes out with Summer and he talks, and he's, I think what it amounted to him saying was he wanted Cena to choose him to be his opponent. But he basically cut Randy off. But Johnny's like, shh, don't worry about that. So, of course, this pissed Randy off. Randy ends up jumping Johnny, beats him up. And so Maddox bails out of the ring, of course, because those two are fighting. And he's at the ramp and he's like, alright, you guys want to fight? Match right now, you two, Johnny and Randy. So, and he's like, get a referee out here, we're going to start this match. Referee comes out, they cut to commercial break, and when we come back, we're having the match, Randy Orton and Fandango. And this was actually a good match. When they come back from the commercial, The match has already started, and Randy is just stomping Johnny on the ground. He stomps him. Of course, he does his stomp where he stomps every little body part and everything. Then he after he gets done with that, he goes for his knee drop that he does, but Johnny rolls out of the way, and Johnny's able to get up and take control. But Randy comes back. They go to the outside and then back inside, but then they go back out. And Randy grabs Johnny and lifts him up and drops him back first on the barricade. And then they go back in the ring, and Johnny is able to take control again. And Randy comes back. Okay. Randy threw Johnny into the corner, and Randy comes running in, and Johnny puts his boot up, but Randy catches it. But Johnny jumps up and enziguri kicks Randy in the side of the head. They end up on the outside of the ring. Randy gets thrown into the ring stairs. They cut to another commercial. When they come back, Johnny is giving Randy the decavitator thing on the ropes. And, it's at this point that I noticed that Randy has, blood on his knuckles. I don't know what the hell that was from. I was looking like, is somebody bleeding? I don't know what the hell it was from, but he had blood on his knuckles. Randy goes for his neck and backbreaker thing that he does, but Johnny countered out of it. I don't remember how he countered out of it, but he got out of it somehow. Randy comes back, he does his T-bone suplex, and then they go up for a superplex. They do that. Johnny counters on the apron. I think he was on the apron and Randy tried to rush him and he jumped up and enziguri kicked him again. Then Johnny went up top but got crotched. And then Randy grabs him and gets him slung on the middle rope from the corner, and he does the rope hung DDT thing. And then he's able to hit the RKO and he wins. So it was a good match overall. So we got that match going. Yeah, so, the match was there. And, it was, like I said, it was a good match. Randy wound up winning, and it actually seemed like they were trying to put over Johnny in this match. He really put up a hell of a fight, and even the commentators were like, yeah, he was really game after all of that and everything, and I'm like, yeah, he was. So, yes. After the match, they show a recap of Del Rio and Ziggler from Money in the Bank last night. They show a recap with pictures, though. Because, whenever they do pay-per-view recaps, they never show actual video footage. They just use pictures. Because, of course, they don't want to, cheat themselves out of money. People actually pay to see the pay-per-view, or maybe even pay to see the repeat of it. But anyway, so they do that. They cut backstage to Ziggler walking through one of the hallways. And AJ comes up behind him. And she's trying to apologize. Ziggler don't have any of it. But he says it's time for us to move on. And AJ thinks that he means, oh, okay, he forgives me, so she hugs him. And you can see Ziggler's just standing there, his arms at his side. And then he comes up and he pushes her off and he says, "No, you don't get it. It's time for me to move on without you." So he basically breaks up with AJ right there. He walks off, and then they cut to another hallway backstage where Mark Henry is walking. He's wearing a suit, and he's walking, I guess, out to the ring. They cut to commercial. They come back. Henry is in the ring talking. And there's a "you tapped out" chant and a "sexual chocolate" chant. And Henry's basically, he says he don't want to make any excuses, blah, blah, blah. He don't want to, whatever the fuck. I really don't give a shit. But he basically says, I'm not going to make any excuses. I got beat. So I'm going to be a man and accept defeat. And then all of a sudden the Shield music hits. And out come the three of them. And it's just like old times. They surround the ring. And Henry's not backing down. The three guys, they get up on the apron and they're getting ready to jump in. Henry's not backing down. He takes off his jacket from his suit. He throws it at Reigns and uses the distraction to clock him and knock him off the apron. But Rollins and Ambrose come in from behind and they start tackling him, trying to fight him and whatever. And there's a fight. Reigns gets back into the ring and they're all going at it. And Henry's doing a fairly decent job of fighting them off. But then Ambrose jumps on him from behind and gets a sleeper hold locked in. Rollins comes up, but he gets kicked away. But then Reigns comes screaming across the ring and just runs through Mark with the spear. Knocks him on his ass. And then, of course, they set him up for the big triple power bomb. And I'm like, can you really hold him up, Reigns? Because Mark's a big motherfucker. But they get him up, sure enough. And they get him on Reigns' shoulders. And they slam him the fuck down with the power bomb. And I'm like, God damn. And after that, they say up next is the Ziggler and Del Rio rematch. And so they cut to a commercial. Yeah. So, yeah. They cut to commercial, they come back, and Maddox is in his office backstage. Jericho comes up, and they're talking. And Maddox decides to make Jericho versus Rob Van Dam for later tonight. Okay, whatever. We cut back into the arena, Del Rio comes out, and Ziggler comes out, and it's time for their match. And even though it's a rematch from last night, I noticed during the introductions or whatever that the ring announcer did not mention that it was for the title, so it was a non-title match, I guess. But in any event, the match gets going, and Del Rio, of course, is really aggressive early on because he's a dick like that. And so, yeah. So Del Rio's aggressive. Ziggler hits his drop kick and a neck breaker, and he starts doing the repeating elbows again. He gets Del Rio in the corner, goes for the Stinger Splash, but Del Rio gets out of the way. Del Rio starts making his comeback, and he gets Ziggler up top and does the super reverse suplex again. He gets him down and chokes him on the ropes. Ziggler starts coming back. Oh, right. And then Del Rio was over by the ropes, and Ziggler comes running at him, and Del Rio backdrops him all the way out of the ring. And Ziggler was way high up, and he came down and smacked the mat on the outside of the ring real hard. It looked like a real nasty hit. Yeah, but after that, they cut to a commercial. They come back, and Del Rio's in control, obviously, after that fall, he would be. Okay. Del Rio threw Ziggler into the corner and then went to charge him, but Ziggler jumps up to the second rope and then jumps off and grabs onto Del Rio, spins around, and hits a nice leaping tornado DDT. They start trading blows back and forth. Oh yeah, they reuse the spot of Del Rio flying through the ropes. Like, he does that in like every match. I don't understand what it is. But this time, they actually made it a little new. As he's going through the ropes, he grabs onto it and hangs on so he doesn't go all the way out of the ring. Yeah, but he holds on. He stands up on the apron and Ziggler drop kicks him the hell off. They get back in the ring. Ziggler goes for the Famouser, but like last night, Del Rio counters it into a German suplex. Del Rio goes for his arm breaker, but Ziggler spins out of it and goes right into a nice swinging neck breaker. Del Rio throws Ziggler in the corner and hits the corner enziguri. And then he sets him up in the Tree of Woe. And I think they've done this before. He gets him set up in the Tree of Woe, and then he went to shoulder charge him, but Ziggler pulls himself up, and Del Rio ends up going shoulder first into the post. And using this, Ziggler, he's still on the top rope, he turns himself around, and he grabs Del Rio out, and he gets his leg over Del Rio's head, and jumps out of the corner, and hits a Famouser out of the corner. So he hits that. Oh yes, they were both down after this, and Ziggler crawls over slowly to make the cover, and he rolls Del Rio over, and he makes the cover, and the ref goes down to count, and all of a sudden you hear the bell ringing, and the ref's like, what the fuck? They look over, and AJ is over in the timekeeper's area. And Ziggler is distracted by this, of course. And while they're over, well, they're not really over anywhere. They're still in the ring, but they're looking over at AJ, yelling at her, like, what the fuck are you doing, you crazy bitch? And Del Rio uses this distraction to get up, and he sets himself up, and he just comes charging out of the corner. Ziggler's down on his knees, of course. So Del Rio comes charging and just blindsides Ziggler with that kneeling super kick, full on, straight to the friggin' side of the head. Looks like it just completely knocked out Ziggler. So Del Rio covers him, gets the 1, 2, 3, and wins. Afterwards, of course, the bell actually does ring, but AJ gets into the ring. And as Ziggler finally comes around after being knocked out by this friggin' nasty super kick to the face, he gets up and he's looking at AJ, and she's like, you broke my heart and whatever the fuck, and she starts slapping the shit out of Ziggler, just back and forth slapping him. Just over and over. And then Ziggler's trying to, like, kind of push her off, like he doesn't want to hit her because she's a girl, and God knows that won't fly in PG WWE, but he's trying to get her off, and he turns around, and all of a sudden there's Big E, who just flatlines him knocks him the fuck over. And AJ backs up, of course. Big E pulls the straps down on his singlet, and he picks Ziggler up and gets him up on his shoulder and hits the big ending. And, afterwards, Ziggler, of course, is laid out on his face on the floor because, Yeah, so he's laid out on the mat, and AJ comes over, gets down on her knees next to him, lifts his head off the canvas, and kisses him on the mouth. So, and as the commentator said, this is basically a kiss goodbye. So, AJ just showing that she's crazy and really does not respond well to being broken up with. But then again, what girl does? So, women, am I right, fellas? Anyways, so AJ and Big E leave, and Ziggler's finally getting up, and I'm already seeing that this is basically going to lead to a feud. Ziggler's going to be fighting Big E, and it's probably going to end up being something like Ziggler and Caitlyn will go against Big E and AJ. So, but anyways, after all that, they cut to another commercial. They come back, and they do a recap of the opening segment, of course, with Maddox and Cena and all that crap. And then, for some strange freaking reason, R-Truth's music hits. And again, you'll note that we haven't talked about him much in a while, because he hasn't been on the damn show. You'll see why here in a minute, because he comes out, and of course he's doing his classic rapping, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up. He's doing all that crap. And the fans hardly knew what to make of this, because they haven't seen him in so long. And I also noticed that he had like a new hairstyle. And he looks a lot older with this hairstyle. I don't know what it is. But it just really looked weird. So, but anyways, he comes out and he gets in the ring and he's doing his what's up stuff, still barely getting any reaction from the crowd because they haven't seen him in frickin' forever. And then all of a sudden the lights go out. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I see why he's out here. The Wyatt family comes out. And it's just like last week on Raw. The lights go out and Wyatt leads the way with his fucking electric LED lantern. And he sits down in his stupid little rocking chair on the at the end of the aisleway there, the walkway. And so, yeah. Yeah, so he comes out, and with Rowan and Harper as well, obviously. And so the lights finally come back, and Rowan and Harper are in the ring flanking Truth, and they just attack him, and they beat the shit out of him, just like with Kane last week. They beat him up, and they basically just drive him out of the ring. They throw his ass out of the ring, basically. And then Bray finally gets his lazy ass up out of his fucking rocking chair, and he gets in the ring, and he gets a mic, and he starts talking. And I cannot, for the life of me, remember a single fucking thing he said. To me, it sounded like insane, incoherent, just babbling. Just rambling on and on about this and that. He should hook these guys up with Zeb Coulter. There's a lot of incoherent mumbling and babbling, and it's... Seriously, and people actually like this guy. I don't get it. But anyways, he gets done cutting his lame, boring, crappy, incoherent promo. And then they notice that Truth is back up on the apron and he's got himself a chair. And he's looking like he still wants to fight. And Harper and Rowan, of course, they go into like defense mode. They're like, no, you're not going to get to Bray. But Bray's like, no, let me take him. And he tells them to get the hell out of the ring. So they get out of the ring. And Truth, he slowly gets into the ring. And he's Bray's got his arms outstretched like he wants him to hit him with the chair and whatever. And he's like, come on, do it. Come on, what are you waiting for? And Truth happens to notice that Harper and Rowan are going around behind him on the outside of the ring, and he looks down at them, and Bray uses the distraction to jump him in the corner, and he starts beating the hell out of him. And then, of course, Harper and Rowan get back in, they triple team him, and then those two, they pick Truth up, and they hold him out so Bray can hit his crappy finisher on him. Some of the... Whatever. Big waste of fucking time. The only reason Truth came out was to be a sacrificial lamb. And oh yeah, after Bray hits his finisher on Truth, he gets the mic again and he says... Kane, follow the buzzards. So it looks like it's pretty obvious that they're actually going to roll with a feud between Bray Wyatt and his two chumps versus Kane. Why? I don't have any goddamn clue. Who gives a shit about fighting Kane? Like, the guy's been in the business a while, and I respect that and everything. He's also not bad in the ring and promos and stuff like that. But it's pretty obvious that at this point, Kane is basically just enhancement talent. And I mean, even he seems to know that. I guess that's basically what they're doing with this. Kane, you're going to put this Wyatt guy over so people might actually take him seriously. Sorry, it ain't going to work. Kane's been enhancement talent for far too long, and everybody knows that. So even if Bray manages to beat Kane in this feud, I'm sure he will. But even if he does, I'm sure it won't fucking matter because no one will care. Kane just got done being in a storyline tag team with Daniel Bryan, and it was a comedy team. So, yeah, who's going to take him seriously after that? Even if he comes back from this supposed injury that he got from the beating last week. Even if he comes back from it all demonic and deranged and monstrous like he should be, you know, it won't matter. Everybody's still going to know that he's just going to job to Wyatt, and it's going to suck. So, sorry, but you can push Wyatt and his stupid cronies all you want. I'm not going to buy them. Last week on Raw, when they debuted, the people showed that they're not going to buy him either. They're chanting Husky Harris. Fuck off already. This guy is a flop. But anyways, after all that shit gets done, they cut away, and they use this really bad cutaway to, I guess, cover the Wyatt family exit because they're still trying to use some sort of weird mystique with these guys. There's nothing mysterious about them. They suck. End of story. But anyways, so they cut over to the commentators, and they're saying that later on, we're going to have, or actually right now as a matter of fact, we're going to do another stupid app vote. But for this one, we're picking who the opponents will be in a tag team match against Cesaro and Swagger. And the choices in the app are the Usos, the Primetime Players, or Tons of Funk. They cut to commercial, and when they come back, they're doing they show the same video they showed last night about the new WWE Performance Center, which is going to be their big, performance talent enhancement stuff. Right, so they show that video, and then Swagger and Cesaro and Zeb Coulter come out, and Coulter, of course, is talking. And so, whatever the fuck, they show the results of the app vote, and the Usos won, so out they come, and we have us this tag team match. It's short and it's crap, and I have written down here, who gives a shit? And honestly, yeah, who gives a shit? All these app vote matches can kiss my ass, okay? I'm tired of them trying to push these stupid app votes on us. No one fucking cares. Just have the match you guys want to have, because we know most of the polls are rigged anyways. Just have the match you want to show us, and get it over with. So, I just don't understand why they think they can keep doing this. It's stupid. And this WWE app can also kiss my ass. Yeah. But like I said, who gives a shit about the match? The Usos win with a cheap roll-up. And again, who gives a shit? So, after that, they say that RVD and Jericho, they hyping up, that's going to be later, and it ends up being the main event, by the way. They hype that up, they cut to a commercial, and when they come back, Damian Sandow is coming out with his newly acquired Money in the Bank briefcase. And, yeah. So he comes out, and I don't know. No, he wasn't talking. But he comes out, and then Christian comes out. So, of course, we're going to have us a match. Sandow versus Christian. This one appears to be a bit shorter. And I think it was at least decent. Oh, yeah. It was actually fairly short and quick. The only minor notes I have was Christian was up top on the top rope, and Sandow shoved his ass off and he fell to the apron and into the floor. Christian hit a tornado DDT after being countered once, if I remember right. And then Christian counters Sandow's elbow of disdain, the Kobito Akiet, as it is in Latin. But yeah, he counters the elbow. I don't know how he did it. I think I was looking down, taking a note, and it happened while I wasn't looking. But he countered the elbow somehow. And I think I know how it happened. I'm going to guess what it was is Sandow was doing the elbow, and as he turned to drop the elbow, Christian grabbed him, schoolboy rolled him up into a pin, and he got the 3 count. So Christian wins, and the ring announcer is saying, "Here is your winner, Christian." And Sandow grabs the mic from him and says, "But still, your intellectual savior and Money in the Bank winner, Damian Sandow." So he gets the last word, essentially. But then out of nowhere, Cody Rhodes comes out and starts attacking him. Of course, Cody, I'm going to guess he finally realized that the whole friendship between him and Sandow was just playing him. And to me, I honestly kind of saw this coming, because when they first started being a team, I kind of thought it was weird, because Sandow's this highly intellectual, really, really smart guy. And he starts hanging out with Cody Rhodes, who's not really as smart. Like, Cody was, like, feigning intelligence, essentially. And so, I'm guessing Damian just, took advantage of it to, I guess, gain Cody's trust. And, yeah, so... yeah, so that's going on, and right. But Cody attacks Sandow, but Sandow gets away and he goes out through the crowd, and they cut to a commercial. And when they come back, they show a video taken earlier today of Vicky out in the arena halls or whatever, appealing to the fans, trying to get them to sign some fucking petition to get her reinstated as the GM or managing supervisor of Raw. And I'm rolling my eyes at this. What was even more surprising to me was she actually got a couple of people to sign her petition. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Why would you sign the thing to have her come back? She is so annoying. I'm glad Maddox is the new GM, and he's already shaping up to be a hell of a lot better. But anyways, they cut back from that, and Brie Bella is in the ring. And of course, her sister, Nikki, is on the outside of the ring. And the funny thing about this is, okay, you're thinking, okay, the Bellas, they're going to use their twin magic to win. Well, no. Because Brie's in the ring, and she's actually dressed to wrestle. But Nikki's on the outside of the ring, and she's wearing, like, sort of a formal dress. And it's really showing off her cleavage. It's seeming like Nikki's the one that got the boob job, by the way. She's showing it off, and, this dress and everything. But yeah, so it's like, okay, so she's not dressed to wrestle. They can't possibly switch. Because the ref isn't that stupid. Like, okay, you're in fighting clothes and you're in a dress. So, no. But anyways, I'm like, okay, we've got one of the Bellas. We're going to have a single Divas match. What schmaltzy crap diva are they going to have to come out and face her? And Brodus Clay's music hits. Of course, this being the same theme they use for the Funkadactyls. So out come Cameron and Naomi. And I'm like, okay, so which one is it? And the announcer goes, it's Naomi. And I'm like, oh, great. So yeah, the match starts going, and it's terrible. The only note I have is, seriously, who gives a shit? Naomi's drop kicks suck. Naomi hits the rear view, her big flying ass womp, that she hits them as they rebound from hitting the ropes. And then she dives down on Brie from the top rope with a crossbody and gets the win. And I'm like, are they really going to roll with her using a crossbody to get the win? That's lame. That's really lame. So yeah, the match wasn't really that long. It sucked. Naomi looks like shit, of course, just like she always does. And it's really starting to fucking piss me off that these two whores are actually still on the damn roster. They're on the payroll. Neither one of them is a good wrestler. I'm not talking about the Bellas. I'm talking about the Funkadactyls. Get rid of the Funkadactyls. They suck. Please. Apparently, you've got these two new divas, Eva Marie and Coco, apparently, who are supposed to be coming up soon. So, Jesus Christ. At least this Eva Marie chick is hot looking. Can't really say that about the frickin' Funkadactyls. But whatever. Bitching aside. They cut away from that crap, and they cut to a exclusive about from last night, Money in the Bank. This was I guess it was an app exclusive. It was Paul Heyman leaving the Money in the Bank after he screwed over Punk. And the camera guy is trying to get Heyman to answer his questions, and Heyman's not talking to him. But they get out to the parking lot area, I guess, and Heyman finally turns around and looks at the cameraman and he says, "Stay out of my personal business." And that's pretty much it. And I'm like, okay, whatever the fuck. But after that, they cut to a commercial again, and when they come back, Punk comes out, and he's obviously still hurt from his match with, or from the Money in the Bank match last night. He was pretty beat up. So, yeah, so he comes out, and he starts talking, and it's pretty short and sweet. The basic gist of it is he calls out Heyman and Brock. He says, "I know Paul Heyman's here tonight, and I know Brock Lesnar's here tonight. So, come on out." Heyman comes out, and he's on the stage, and he's talking. And he talks for quite a goddamn while, as everybody knows he can. That's basically all he does. But he starts talking about truth versus lying, and he's saying all this shit. And he brings up Punk's family. He says that Punk basically doesn't have a family because of his estranged father or mother or something, and yeah. And finally he gets to the point where he says the whole point is you can't beat Brock Lesnar. That's the truth, apparently. Punk starts talking again, and one of the main things he said was, "Paul, you do know me better than anybody else. And you know that when things get personal, and somebody pushes me too far, I am the most ruthless guy in the world, and I will not stop until I get you." And he says, "Paul, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna take out everyone that associates with you, your clients, your family, everybody, until you're the only one left." And yeah, so he's saying, "I'm gonna get to you, and I'm gonna get you good," and all this shit. But Paul starts talking again, and he says that, "You know what? You say that I don't have a future," because that was one of the things that Punk said. It was that you basically don't have a future. And so Paul says, "You say I don't have a future, but let me tell you about your immediate future." And he gets down on his knees, and he mimics Punk's little getting down on the knees and checking the watch and the "it's clobbering time." And of course I'm like, okay, so now Brock's going to come out. Sure enough, he does. So sure enough, Brock comes out, and he starts fighting with Punk, and it goes kind of back and forth. They're fighting on the outside of the ring mostly. And Lesnar throws Punk over the announce table. But Punk kind of immediately gets up and jumps off the table at Brock, but Brock catches him like World's Strongest Slam style, but he takes him over and rams him back first into the corner post. And then he picks Punk up and F5s him on the announce table. The table don't break, but he F5s him on it. And after that, Heyman and Brock leave. And Punk's trying to get up, but he was, of course, still banged up from the Money in the Bank thing last night, and so... yeah. Yeah, so afterwards, Punk is trying to get up, and of course he's being real valiant and, you know, showing a lot of heart and everything, getting back up, and, you know, that's great. But he's not really able to get up much. But they cut to a commercial break. When they come back, they do a recap of that whole segment, what just happened. And the commentators do make note that Punk was able to get up and leave after a while. Yeah, so he's... yeah, but they do the recap. And after that, they show a video for their Total Divas reality show that's coming up on the E! Network soon. I don't know why they keep hyping this thing. I'm really hoping it's going to flop, and they're going to just end up canceling it immediately, because no one gives a fuck about the backstage lives of the Divas. But anyways, they cut backstage to Cena walking through one of the hallways, and the Great Khali comes up to him. And he's speaking, I'm pretty sure it's Hindi, which is the language of the Indian people. But he's speaking to him, and it's, even though I don't speak that language, it's pretty obvious that what Khali's saying is, you know, I want you to choose me as your opponent for SummerSlam. Of course, they do this, whatever the fuck. But Khali gets done talking, and Cena's looking at him this whole time with this puzzled look on his face. And I'm like, really, Khali? You're gonna do this? But whatever. Khali gets done talking, and Cena looks at him, and he starts speaking Hindi back to him. And I'm like, Cena speaks another language besides English? That's really... I'm guessing it was bullshit. They probably just taught him one little simple phrase or whatever the fuck. Ugh. But anyways, they cut back to Brad Maddox in his office, and Stephanie comes up. And she asks him how he's doing or something. And Maddox starts talking. He's like, yeah, but then Stephanie's like, whoa, 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 I wasn't really talking to you. They cut over to the other side, and there's Triple H. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So Stephanie and Triple H are talking back and forth, and they're kind of putting down Maddox in the process, saying that, you know, it's not really good for business leaving this decision about Cena's opponent up to Cena, you know. Vince wouldn't like it and all this shit. And I'm like, I don't fucking give a shit what Vince wants. This dumbass doesn't know what the hell he's doing. That's why we have a GM running the show and not Vince. But yeah, they're basically just shitting on Brad this whole time, and I don't know what the fuck. It doesn't matter. But they get done with that. There's a lot of talking, and I didn't catch most of it because I didn't care. But yeah, so they get done with that segment. They cut back out to the arena, and RVD comes out. So it's finally time for his match with Jericho. RVD comes out. They cut to another commercial. And when they come back, Jericho comes out. Okay, great. They start having their match. And again, this is a good match. Kind of seemed a little awkwardly paced. And the flow wasn't really so good. But it's still a decent match. Good match. It's back and forth for a while. Jericho hits an enziguri. They cut to another commercial. Jericho starts making a comeback, whatever the fuck. RVD outside. Oh, yes. RVD's on the apron, and Jericho's trying to suplex him into the ring. But he blocks it, and he tries to suplex Jericho out of the ring. They go back and forth. Finally, Jericho lifts RVD up, but he slips down the back, and he catches himself, and then he thrust kicks and nails Jericho right in the jaw with like a super kick. He just levels Jericho with this super kick. And there's some more fighting. Jericho powerbombs RVD. RVD gets Jericho down and goes for the Rolling Thunder, but Jericho rolls out of the ring and avoids it. But then RVD gets out on the apron and he does a moonsault from the apron on top of Jericho on the outside. They cut to another commercial. Jericho's in control when they come back. RVD starts making a comeback, but Jericho stops it. Jericho goes for the lion salt, but RVD rolls out of the way, and he's able to hit the Rolling Thunder. And then Jericho plants RVD with this big DDT, and of course RVD does his big classic over-the-top selling of it where he sticks straight up in the frickin' air. Yeah, so there's that. Jericho goes for the walls of Jericho, but he gets countered. Rob just kind of rolls out of it. And I noticed that RVD's bleeding from the head. Or right. Or no. Okay, wait a minute. I skipped ahead a bit. Right, so after Rob countered out of the walls of Jericho, he hits another super kick. And then Jericho went up to the top rope, but got crotched in the corner. And he falls down, and then RVD goes for the split leg moonsault, but Jericho moves out of the way. Jericho goes for the lion salt and hits it. And Jericho goes to run RVD into the corner, but this is another classic RVD thing. He uses his foot to stop himself from hitting the corner, and then he stops, and then he up kicks and hits Jericho in the head with it. And then RVD goes up, but he gets crotched in the corner. And then Jericho goes for a superplex, but RVD fights him off. And he does like a flipping senton out of the corner and lands on top of Jericho. And this is where, okay, so, right. I'm trying to think of what happened here. Jericho countered something that RVD did, and he countered it into the walls of Jericho. Or, no, okay, now I remember. RVD went for like a jumping Hurricane Rana, and Jericho caught him and just got him down into the walls of Jericho. And it was at that point where I noticed that RVD was bleeding. But he grabs the ropes, gets a rope break. He's able to hit his stupid windmill kick, and then he hits the 5-star frog splash and wins. So, nice, decent match. It went for a while. It was a good match. But after the match, they say, okay, Cena's about to make his decision on who his opponent's going to be. So we're going to do that, and that'll be up next. They cut to a commercial. And I think, as they were coming back, they say, this Friday on SmackDown, we're going to have Miz TV with Paul Heyman, and we're going to see if we can get some more answers on why Heyman betrayed Punk. And I'm thinking, well, I think we pretty much got all the answers we need, really. So, yeah, so I'm thinking, why do we need to do that? But yeah, so we come back from the commercial, and the entire roster is out on the stage. Cena comes out, and he says that he can't make up his mind. He can't choose who he wants to face. No. But he says that he can't choose who he wants to face. So he wants to let the WWE Universe help him decide. And this just shameless pandering really just gets on my nerves. But yeah, so he says basically, we've got everybody up on the stage. I'm going to rattle off a few names, and you tell me whether you want me to face them or not. Cheer or boo or whatever the fuck. So he starts going through names, yada yada. Pretty much the crowd's booing everybody because they're not hearing anybody that they want. It's pretty obvious that the crowd only wants Daniel Bryan. But yeah, so, yeah, so, like I said, Cena starts going through names, and the crowd's basically booing all of them. And then he starts, saying that, there's one guy I haven't mentioned, and I don't really see him up there. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Daniel Bryan. After a lot of the crowd, yes, yes, and chanting Daniel Bryan and everything, he finally picks Daniel Bryan, and Bryan comes out, and he gets down in the ring, and he's all happy and celebrating, and yes, 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 and everything. And so Bryan's in the ring, and he basically stares down with Cena, and that's the end of the show. So, there you go. Overall, I would say this episode of Raw was... I'd say it was a decent episode of Raw. Had a couple of fairly good matches. RVD and Jericho was fairly good, even though it was kind of strangely paced. You had the shit match with Naomi and Brie. Who gives a shit about the fucking divas anyways? If it ain't AJ, Natalya, or Caitlyn, I don't give a shit. Those are the only three divas on the current roster right now that are any good in the ring, any good on the mic, and those three are the only ones with any real redeeming qualities. The other ones have, no personality, no charisma, really. Most of them aren't that good in the ring. The Bellas are passable, but they're, the only ones. Other than Natalya, AJ, and Caitlyn. The other divas are pretty much worthless. Layla's been tagging along with Caitlyn, but Layla sucks. She's got no fucking personality. No charisma, and she's not a very good wrestler, and she hasn't frickin' wrestled at least not on Raw or SmackDown in frickin' forever. Nobody cares, though. But yeah, Sandow and Christian was an alright match. Kind of a lame ending, though. Del Rio and Ziggler would have been good. Well, it was good, but the ending sucked. The tag match with Swagger and Cesaro versus the Usos was actually kind of crap because it was way too short, and honestly, the Usos suck, so who gives a shit about them? Yeah, Orton and Johnny from the beginning of the match, or from the beginning of the show, was fairly good too. The backstage segments were good, I guess, aside from them showing Vicky again. I was kind of hoping that since Vicky is now fired, she's no longer the GM, I was kind of hoping that she would, I don't know, leave for a while and not show her fucking face on WWE programming for a good long while? Is that too much to ask for? The whole point in getting rid of her was so that she wasn't on the show anymore and we wouldn't have to put up with her fucking voice or her face. But no, apparently Vince just really wants to keep shoving it in our faces. You will put up with this shit whether you like it or not. I don't understand this logic. Vicky Guerrero has never been a good character. Never. So I just do not understand why they keep shoving her down our throats. But anyways, that is the end for Raw. Like I said, the show was decent, aside from a couple of crappy bits. Overall, I'd give it an A-OK rating, I guess, aside from, like I said, those crappy bits. And so yeah, that was Raw from July 15th, 2013, from Brooklyn, New York. The Brooklyn crowd. The crowd, by the way, was doing a lot of chants during the night, and it seemed like they were really trying to redo the night after WrestleMania crowd thing, where they're chanting for all this shit. I think it was during the Randy and Johnny match that they started chanting Randy Savage. And I'm like, okay, whatever the fuck. Funny note on that, by the way. It's recently been announced that The Ultimate Warrior will be the pre-order bonus DLC for the new WWE 2K14 game. And there's a freaking hilarious video. And it actually has the Warrior in it, the actual guy, running around like the office of the 2K office, beating people up and smacking people with the game box. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, so he's going to be your pre-order DLC if you pre-order the game. And I probably will end up doing that because I just recently traded in my copy of WWE 13. I didn't see any point in keeping it. There's not really anything all that great with it. But yeah, so that was Raw. Was an alright show, I guess. We will see you again for SmackDown. Don't know when that's going to be. I said my source has been fucked up lately. I don't know what's up with it, but whatever. We'll see about SmackDown. And we will see you next time.